Lightsabers.
I have something here for you. It's the weapon of a Jedi.
Then I am a Jedi.
濕水啦，我死唔去嘅，你去啦，我會等你返嚟嘅。
What did you say?
Welcome to the SpaceWIndu build stream. I'm going to be working on Malcolm's lightsaber again. This is maybe like part 4. I got some bits and parts around from Malcolm's saber that I've done work to since the last time that we met up, and I'll show you those. And I think I'll start out with a little warm-up thing, which is going to involve a Vader's Vault Graflex piece. This is Vader's Vault Graflex adapter, and I'm taking off some of the bit on the interior there where the bottom half screws on, so that I could get this chassis, which I got from a friend of mine off Instagram. I want it to fit really well inside this Vader's Vault piece, and I need to take some more off of the Vader's Vault piece so that I don't have to take too much off the plastic here, because there's a lot of meat here on the Vader's Vault piece that I could remove still, so that's going to be a little bit messy, but I figure I'll start with that, and then we'll move on to some of the machining of Malcolm's saber. I have to get here is another sanding drum from the Dremel kit. Or maybe I'll try this grinder thing. I don't know, the sanding thing was working pretty good. Check out, see if anyone's talking to me. Melissa's World, thanks for being here. Hello, Space. I hope I can come on again. Melissa, I don't know if I'm going to have any guests tonight because I'm trying to not wear the headphones. And when I have guests on, I have to put the headphones on, and then I have this cord. So I'm just going to try to like maybe not do the headphone thing today, just so I can be free to move around. Good news, I linked OBS and YouTube and can now stream on YouTube. Awesome news, Melissa. Yeah, I knew you were going to be able to, because like I started a new channel called Comic Book Creation Live for my comic book stuff. And all you have to do is like, at least all I had to do was like, you know, I didn't have any subscribers on that channel, but all I had to do was like link my cell phone. They wanted to verify, and then you have to wait 24 hours. So I don't know if you had to do that, but I knew it wasn't that big a deal, you know. Oh, Steve's here. What's going on, Steve? I love how much your channel has evolved with the sweet intros. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Tim McAndrew, welcome. Hey, Anthony. What's going on, Tim? How are you tonight? Hope you're doing good on this Sunday. I've actually got Tim Saber behind me too, but I'm not into that one right now. I'm more into these couple of these other ones. Where did my part go? So yeah, this is just me kind of working through some of these machining projects because they're a little bit time consuming, but I think this part's fun. You know, I like this part better than the wiring part. This is like more of the planning and more of the kind of art, I think. You know, you get to really formulate something in 3D. It's pretty cool. This Graflex part here is for JJ. Harris asked me to. Harris is my Graflex expert at Civilized Sabers, and he had asked me, he said, you know, make this part fit because it doesn't right now, and it's got to fit perfectly or else it's going to be like 2 millimeters too long if it doesn't go all the way in there, unless I could shave some. I'm considering shaving some off of this a little bit. I don't think we need to shove that much into there, but I don't know. Let's see how far we can get here. Sword of the Jedi, what's going on, Clint? What's up? Have you got to test the double-sided strips yet? I just, like, I have a Profi tester box that I made. So I was bench testing it. Just today, I finished this, or it wasn't really installation. I just had to repair Gabe's old Saber here. So this is Gabe's Saber with the Profi board programmed to run the KR strips. It's very, very nice. If not a little long, you know, that's the one thing I kind of don't like about the pixel stick is that it's a certain length and you can't alter that. So on this particular Saber, like I was telling Gabe earlier, it kind of like this hilt is so light and kind of small, and it's so light on its own. I'm telling you, it's less than a pound. And then when you put this pixel stick blade in there, which it's about 35 inches. I just feel like it's a little too much, but you know, it's going to work for a lot of people. I think it's bright. I put it on the tester. The brightest color on my lux meter is the cyan. I didn't try any white. I bet you white's, you know, brighter. But this cyan was actually brighter than the green. Red was at about 1200 on the lux meter. That cyan was about 4600 on the lux meter. That's still not as bright as, let's say, my photonic green, just the standard photonic green blade goes up to, I think, what was it, like oh no, it was the TriStar photonic goes to 8000. That's also in the photon tube. This is in an enhanced blue tube. Green's pretty nice. You know, it's smooth. That's the nice thing about the strips. They are a little bit brighter than the skinny strips that I use, and their LEDs are closer together, so you get a smoother look to it. It is a little heavier weight than like my blades. I feel like they're like they weigh like nothing with the skinny strips. You know, all goes well with this test. Like, actually, this font is cool. I don't know if you guys can tell, but when I swing this, it's changing to aqua from the screen. You know, that's like one thing I can't really test in my tester, in my lux meter, because the lux meter can't like follow the lightsaber exactly. But I test it stationary, you know, in there. So I do have some more. These are just like preliminary tests, but nothing really got above the 4600 lux that the cyan was. The red was about 1200. This was about 3000. Very smooth looking red, but I kind of feel like, you know, on the blades I make too, the red is very, very even looking as well. Very cool so far. I'm going to, you know, do a video on it. I just started testing it, but I'll do a video on it, and then I'll pass this on to Gabe so that he can do some videos and kind of play with it. Give it those real world type of tests. You know what I mean? Oh, describe Gabe's hilt right there. It is a saber forge hilt, and it has a new leather wrap on the second half of it, the bottom half, which is like kind of the grip. And the buttons are two small tactile switches that are really, really close together, that you get that little chip off Etsy. And it has a 2.1 millimeter recharge port, and I consider it like a tactical looking lightsaber because it's silver and black. And Gabe is a police officer, so I kind of feel like that tactical look suits his lightsabers, especially since he wants to wear it on his belt. Now, with that one, I did put a leather wrap over his other leather wrap. I never liked the brown leather wrap. He had somebody do work on the saber, and they put a brown leather wrap on it, which Gabe loved. And I didn't like black and brown together. So I put a charcoal colored leather wrap over the brown without gluing it, so that if Gabe likes it, you know, he can keep it like that for a while, or he can just simply unwrap the leather, and it's just wrapped up in it right now. But his there's no glue or anything that's going to ruin his like underneath, his brown leather underneath. It's just something I changed while I play with it. I like to have it thicker, like it's a tennis racket, you know, like the lightsaber to be thicker. You know, I forgot my I was going to bring one of my masks out here, but you know, I'll do my shirt trick. This is going to get a little bit messy. You know what? I want some light over here. Some light over here. So as I do this, the piece is getting hotter and hotter. So I will keep going until it gets too hot to hold. It's just about at that point where it's like too hot to hold. Got it opened up a little more. Not that you're going to be able to notice that, but let's see. Still not quite fitting. So some more will have to be taken off of that. And even though some of the metal probably went airborne, a lot of it is heavier, and it fell right here. Oh, my vacuum's not plugged in, so I'll just leave that. So the image behind me is what I'm going to be doing to Malcolm's emitter. As you can see here, this is a Saberforge Kanan Jarrus style emitter, and it's pretty solid right now. It doesn't have any holes in it besides the necessary screw holes. But as you can see from the screen here, I'm going to be marking out some places where there is going to be some holes that you're going to see the blade light through. So when the saber's ignited, let me unwrap some of this actually. Some of this protecting the last thing I was doing, but that I finished that part of it. Okay, so we have, this screw probably holds in the, let's see here. Yeah, this will probably hold in the socket for the pixel. Let me see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And you'll still have 2 inches. That's pretty nice. I think that should work. You know, or is that intended to be the, maybe that's intended to be the blade retention, and that's a pretty long socket. Like, this is like a probably 4.5 inch long emitter. Like, I could put the electronics for the pixel blade down here and use this screw hole for the to hold all that in there. I'll get a custom Saber Shop plastic part, put that there, and then yeah, you'll have that blade will sink down a lot. That'll actually be nice for stability. And this I'll probably change to, yeah, I'll probably change this to some kind of thumb screw. I always like to be able to not use a tool, you know? Not use a tool for your blade retention. That's kind of a pain. I wonder if this will be long enough. Like, that's kind of one of the later things we could do, but I do want to kind of pick it right now because what if you know, the thumb screw part of it is big, and I'll have to take that into consideration for my cuts, for my those cuts that are going to show the blade light. So let's make sure here. Yeah, something like this would be nicer. Doesn't necessarily make it all the way through. Do I have anything longer? Well, you know what I could do, though? I could recess a little bit. Oh, but here's something longer. Let's see what this one does. This one's kind of classier. Oh, I don't think this one's the right threads. I'm not a fan of the red plastic ones. I'd rather metal. But at least this one has got the size. So I can just base my design off of how big that part of it is. Actually, it looks kind of cool in red, but I wish it was metal. That is a long enough screw, though, to hold the blade in. I don't know. One of these. Okay, for now we'll use the red. And I'm going to get my marker out here. Kind of a good color that I can see, because I'm going to be drilling some holes. What I'll do is I'll drill a hole at the top of the slit and at the bottom of the slit. And to be honest, I'm not sure how I'm going to do. That might be a lot of work to do the shorter ones, but the longer ones, I know how I would do it is I would drill a hole at the top and bottom and then connect them with the Dremel wheel, the cutting wheel. But first, let's kind of pick out a design here. You know, we can't copy that exact design because that's actually set up a little different. As you could tell, the thumb screw on the example picture that Malcolm sent me is in a different spot than his actual thumb screw. So I'm going to, you know, kind of do a different design, kind of do something a little bit different. Armando, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're having a good evening. Thank you for being here. Oh wait, I have to work this better. How are you going to get a chassis for my Saber? Tim says. Well, I don't really know yet because I don't have it 100% planned. I have to take a close look. It's like my mind is focused on a certain thing. I can't keep everything at fingertips length, so I have to consider that closer when I inspect it more. Oh, very cool shirt. Will they be available for purchase? Thanks, Armando. Probably. I will have to see. You know, my t-shirt guy kind of disappeared on me. I had a local guy that was doing my t-shirts. I made this one and made a bunch of other t-shirts, and I couldn't get a hold of them the last couple times I tried. It's been like a year now since I heard. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out, like, I'll have to figure out some kind of internet-based way to get the t-shirts made. It's a good idea. Thank you. And my friend Kevin was telling me how he likes my older SpaceWIndu shirts too, which have like a skeleton of Darth Vader or a skeleton of Yoda. Some people like those. Like they said SpaceWIndu, and then they had like a skeleton, but it looked like Darth Vader's helmet kind of over the skeleton, or it had like Yoda's skeleton and you could see the ears still and stuff. So that's how you knew it was Yoda. Well, this is kind of, maybe I'll do this triple design, like 3. You know, I kind of thought of this stream like last minute, and I didn't get a chance to email Malcolm and tell him I was working on his lightsaber. Maybe he'll show up here. But he did send me these pictures for the reference, so yeah. So I'm wondering, should I do 3 or should I do 5? Let's see. Kind of follow the shape of this emitter, and maybe take it to like 5. I don't know if that's too many. Let's see. See what happens when I draw it on. See if we like it. That's not bad. It's always a little worrisome to me when, like, you know, there's some space, like this shroud does not rest right on top of this nozzle. It is like there's a space there. So whenever you try to do something that should be even through both layers, that's when it gets tricky, because you could actually look at it from one way and you look at it from another way, and then there's these layers on the inside. It can get a little messy. So that's just something to be aware of as I do this for myself. I usually like to drill through solid material and not have like drilling through something, then a space, and then drilling through something. You know, I don't like that as much. But we're gonna see what we could do here. Anyway, I wonder what happens if I extend that. What does that look like? Maybe. That's not bad. Like, I don't know, I have 5 of them and 2 on the outside kind of extend. What do you guys think of that? Can you see that? You know, or maybe just the center 3 is better. Yeah, because it looks like the example, they have them like kind of wrapping around. They have a good amount of them. Let's mark in red what we actually intend to do. Drill a hole there. Drill a hole there. Now there's several ways you could do this. You can cut out some tape, lay some tape in the margins. I like to look at the reflections of light to get a very straight view of what I'm doing. Like I can get a straight line via the light reflecting off of the metal. So I'm aligning that with a hole here. You know, and this Sharpie marker is just going to come off with our metal polish, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, Melissa, you should use the StreamYard for your streaming, I think, because you can invite the guests on and it's free. They just have like a little StreamYard logo up at the corner if you're using the free version. And there's, you know, certain things you can't do on the free version, but it's totally fine. I used the free version for like a while and then decided, you know, so I could play like goofy clips and stuff like that. I decided to get the upgraded version, but you totally don't need to. I watch a lot of like, you know, professional streamers who are use the free version of StreamYard. No big deal. once I get this going with my drill press right here, this has been a great tool. If you kind of only get one tool, I think drill press is a really good one to get, because you could do a lot. Like I start things on the drill press, like for instance these cutouts, and then I kind of finish with a hand file, or but maybe go to the Dremel at some point and then finish with the hand file. Even with these cutouts and stuff, I don't think it's going to mess with the integrity of this piece. Still has a lot of metal around it. You know, it's going to kind of, is that black in there? I can't even tell. I was going to say, if I have to, is that black? Well, part of it's painted black, where, you know, that's kind of the bad part about it. I mean, I think I'll be able to get it pretty clean, but it's just, and you won't see in there, but you know, it gets a little weird when you want to drill through anodizing and have it be very, very clean. But since it's in there and it's underneath, and I should be able to sand out enough of the little jagged metal parts that that it'll look very, very clean, like these photos here. That's the idea. Okay, so before I drill into this, does anyone have anything to say about this? Yeah, StreamYard question: how is the free version? I think it's great. I used it for a while before I purchased the version, so that I could do certain things like recording instead of live stream. If I wanted to record, you get some other features with it, but you don't need that. You know, to have your own logo in the corner, that's another reason why you might pay, because they put their logo in the corner. Okay, cool. Armando says this is going to look awesome. So this is kind of what, I don't know, maybe I'll do 7 of them. What do you guys think? 7's a lucky number. And then that'll be a lot of light shining, don't you think? That'll be a lot of accent lighting with just the blade. So I have a pretty slender drill bit there. But before I do that, let's put on my gloves one more time. I'm going to work on JJ's piece, JJ's Vader's Fault Graflex part, because it cooled off by now. Yeah, there's a point at which even this thick metal piece from Vader's vault with a lot of meat to it gets hot because of the friction. So even with these leather gloves on, it's still, oh, it's getting there though. You know, and I could always, this is another little angle I might take, which is to just take a little more off plastic side. But not to weaken the piece too much. You know, these chassis it could be too thin at some point. But I have a lot of meat on this too, so I think I could take a little plastic off this insertion end here, this part that could if I do it right, it could friction fit. Of course, I'll put a couple of thumb screws. I mean, not thumb screws. I'll put a couple set screws in anyway, but I like it if it fits, if it like friction fits. That'd be nice. But I don't have a 3D printer or, you know, anything like that. I got two hands. I got sandpaper. I've got a drill press. I can think outside the box. I'll make it work. You know what I mean? This was a MPP chassis that I got from my friend on Instagram, but I figure, you know, it's pretty close to like a Graflex for what I wanted to use like on a Graflex. It's got a lot of room to work with in there. It's nice and silver. It's very sturdy, which is more than I can say for a lot of the Shapeways ones that I've bought. I mean, this might very well be Shapeways, but this is a certain design that is nice and thick. Plenty of room because the Darth Vader MPP has a lot of room in it, just like the Graflex. So I'm doing a Graflex for JJ here, and we can just convert this chassis. Then there'll only be the one part that I ordered from Shapeways for his saber. That'll be all I need. Just something I kind of can't construct myself, which would be the button to have the clamp card be your button on your Graflex. I like that part, so I got a couple of those parts coming in from Shapeways. I've got a couple Qui-Gon chassis coming in from Shapeways for that KR Qui-Gon. A couple other Qui-Gons I got coming. Working on the Goodman Qui, famous Arclight Arsenal Qui. I'm gonna make that legend reborn when I get it fully armed and operational. It's almost there. It's almost there. I have one issue where it's right there. I got one issue to work with on that, but that might be the next saber that comes out because that's so. I had it together, you know, a couple months ago. I had it together. There was something I didn't like about it. I think I didn't like the way I had the buttons, so I took it apart again. And now I'm having trouble trying to get one of the accent LEDs to fire, and I'm like, oh no, because if I can't get that to come on, I have to take it apart further. Oh yeah, getting there. You see, I don't want to force it too much, but that's the idea. Like I'm trying to get that in there all the way. So this cooled off a bit. Let me continue this just for 1 second. I think we're pretty close on this one. You know what? That's a lot of fun to do in the winter out here in the garage because, well, I'm in my Starship, let's be honest, but my garage. And because it's cold out here. And this piece gets so hot, and I'll be standing out here, and then the Dremel gets hot, and I kind of warm my hands up that way. But in the summer, it makes you sweat. Let's get that out of the way. I'm going to get this ready. You know, this is going to present a problem too, because look at this flange here. That's what it's called. Suba, maybe. This guard is kind of in the way, you know, for me to, maybe I can set up my drill press in a certain manner that will work better for this. Let's see what we could do. Let's see what we could do here. Because my little tray here is adjustable, so kind of set it up. You know, save your old clothes, save your old t-shirts, because you never know when you're going to rip them up and use them as a protection for your lightsaber. A little close there. Try to make sure I have enough light here. I could still turn on more lights in the house, but in the ship. But let's see what we got here. I like to double and triple check. I don't want to drill into a part I've been working on for months just willy-nilly, right? Let's make sure we're in the right spot. I'm looking at the light reflections off the metal. They're always straight. So I got a little tiny little divot in there, and it appears that I need to just raise one little side of this to make it less. Because see, I'm trying to rest on this part of it here, and then it's wobbling a little bit here. So although I got the little divot where I wanted, before I go any further, you know, we need to make sure this thing ain't gonna rock. So. So like I said, the tricky part about this particular emitter is that I'm actually going through 2 layers. So I had to go through the top layer, and then you feel it give way, and then you feel the second layer, which is the actual emitter nozzle. And that's kind of thin. So once you hit that, you know, it's kind of a matter of going slowly so you don't break the drill bit. That's kind of a worry here, where these 2 layers, the first one being thicker, and there's a gap, and then there's the second one. And the fact that I'm working with a round object and I'm trying to clamp it down with my hand, you know, I used to try like strapping the part down and stuff, and it never really worked so well for me. So I try to get good at holding it. Mundo, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for being here. Mundo is going to be on my show later, my comic book show later tonight. And Melissa is going to go eat. Enjoy your food, Melissa. I had a sandwich right before coming on here. Next hole, I'm going to have to move this whole thing. This whole tray. Here we go. And my drill bit adjusted by itself, so I have to I don't know if any of you have that problem where sometimes the drill bit sinks too far up because maybe it's not tight enough, and it sinks up in there. Let's see, try to get it. Testing it to make sure that it's not wobbling, it's straight. This is also going to be tricky because to connect these two holes, that every time I need a line, I need to kind of make 2 holes. And to connect those 2 holes, I'll need the Dremel. But the Dremel wheel is a little bit bigger than what I need to sink down into. So I'm going to have to use a previously used Dremel disc and try to actually punch through 2 layers. That's the tricky part. As I complete the hole, what you might see me doing is running the drill press up and down just to sand up the hole a little bit. Mundo, this is a Saber Forge Kanan style emitter. Kanan Jarrah style emitter. It's pretty complicated, right? That screws on to, I think, either Saber Forge parts or MHS parts. It seems to fit both. This one's for Malcolm. This is, the same saber. I think a few of you were on this show the one time. I know Mundo and Melissa were here when I was working on this one of the previous times. This is that same saber. So I've got 4 out of the, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess it'd be 14 holes I have to make. 4 out of 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Nine more to go, and then what I'll need to do is these are like the little worn up discs I told you about that I'll have to use to cut. I'll have to be pretty careful with these little discs. Maybe I could use one like this big for some of them, but I'll have to select some of these tiny ones. Hopefully I can cut down enough to where I could eventually fit my hand file in there so that I can clean it up. The hand file is a good, almost like second to last step. I would use sandpaper as the last step, like kind of folded up sandpaper to make it perfect, like you see in those pictures. To almost give it the impression of a very smooth machine cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still have, if I want to do all my lines, well, let's do 4 more and then see. We'll probably do all our lines, won't we? Let's see. 5 versus 7. I think maybe we'll do all of them. It's going to be hard to align them all, but I think I could do it. I think I got it. This mess out of the way. I don't like to scratch up the hilt I'm working with. That wouldn't be good. What's going on, Jesse? Kyberphonic is in the house. What is up? Trying to make the windows like the Ultra Sabers emitter for Canon. Is that what I have on screen here? Is that from Ultra Sabers? Because it's certainly a different Canon than I'm holding. Like I see this little box right here, which is kind of sweet that this one doesn't have. But this one, the particular design of this Saberforge one, I do like better because I like how it's completely goes down to the guard. Whereas this Ultra, if it's an Ultra Sabers right here, that doesn't go all the way down to the guard. Certainly looks good in this photo here. But as far as these two, I do like this Saberforge one better. So that's kind of neat if we are making that improvement from that Ultra Sabers has, but yet I'm doing it to the one that I actually like the design better. Yeah, Mundo says that's Ultra Sabers. Nice. Yeah, you're coming out with a lot of fonts. I see on Instagram, Kyberphonic is coming out with a font like what, a couple times a week, maybe at least once a week, unless time is maybe working differently for me. But it seems like you're doing that a lot. That's good to be keeping busy. Yeah, I'm able to get a lot done over the weekends too. Like yesterday, I got a lot done in the Saber world. It's been Saber time since Friday night till 3 a.m. It was Saber time, and it just continued. I got a lot done. I was getting some animations done. Like I got my Civilized Sabers animation done. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's on. I played it earlier, but it's also on Civilized Sabers YouTube channel. If you go over there and subscribe, we're going to start doing videos on that channel as well, more about like Civilized Sabers products. We'll also do product reviews. We're going to be talking about that KR blade. All different types of blade options are going to be available through Civilized Sabers. So if you haven't subscribed yet to Civilized Sabers, go check it out. I actually just uploaded a video, I think it was late last night, with Gabe and the Photon blade. Yeah, it's coming out pretty good so far. I don't know if you could tell through you know, where the marker is, but I'm coming in a little bit in from where my marker lines are so that I don't make a mistake. You know, make it a little smaller than you want, and you could change it with your hand files, with your sandpaper and stuff. So just, you know, always err on the side of being careful. Oh, every Saturday you release a new font. That's really awesome. That's a good schedule. You know, people expect it when you have like a day that you're going to do it. So that's pretty awesome. And then it gives you incentive to make sure it happens, right? That's awesome. And you know, these new fonts are nothing to shake a stick at. They're complicated as can be. It seems like there's so many sounds in it. I was playing with Gabe's lightsaber with a Profi in it. I ported over some kyberphonic sounds into it, and you know, just the way the Profi operates is like I stabbed it into the wall, and the tip made a red color, like an orange color, like it was burning for a second into the wall. Tip drag, I guess it's called. That's pretty cool. As I swung the lightsaber, I'll show you guys again in a little bit. There were certain fonts that I was you know, using FET 263's blade styles in there, and when you swing it, I'm basically using the settings from Mark's lightsaber, which is a photonic green blade, and this time I put those settings with a electric blue, enhanced blue blade, and the effects are pretty cool because some of the colors before that were blue and turning to green in the Photon are like really, really blue here. Also, we're able to see like the actual green colors. It's pretty cool. You can kind of see all the different colors with enhanced blue, even red, and I think yellow is the hardest one to make out in enhanced blue, but everything else comes through. It's like I could see the little titanium drill bit, supposedly titanium, flexing. So I'm just hoping that it, you know, I back out, I push it back in, I back out and stuff like that so that it doesn't snap on me, because this is quite a small drill bit. And I'm going through 2 layers of metal. So I'm just, you know, once I see it flexing, I kind of back out and I press down a little bit. Normally aluminum is very, very soft, but maybe it's, you know, this actually is particularly thick piece right here. But particularly thick piece for saber forge. That's why saber forge sabers always kind of trick me when I'm about to work on them. I'm like, oh, you know, look, it's got a lot of room in it. It's a nice size hilt. And then when you get inside the saber forge hilt, you realize there's not that much room. And then you try to figure out, why isn't there that much room? And you look at the metal that it's made from, it's like super thick, you know, like, look, you have the threads, and then you have like a wall of like 0.25, like a 1/4 inch thick wall of metal. So it's like, even though it looks like, you know, you could fit a soundboard probably sideways in this hilt, almost, when you actually look closely at it, you realize, oh, you know, all I have in there is about an inch opening. That's kind of how all saber forges that I've seen have been, like, very, very tight. Even if the outside design looks roomy, it's not roomy in there, believe me. it's always interesting when you do something like this and then you finally get it lit up when the saber's done, and the way the light bounces around through those new holes that you made, through those new slits, is always pretty cool. It's always something to see. It's never exactly what you thought it was going to be like. It's usually better, you know, so it's kind of exciting. You just have to wait a really long time, a really long time for those kind of results when you're starting from this stage. When you're just drilling into the bare metal, it's kind of hard to see that 100 steps later where the saber is ready to be played with. You know, it's not quite that easy. Looks like I'll need a couple new lines here just for these final. Let's get them a little farther away. I'm trying to get Malcolm's hilt done for the middle of September, where he has an event where he'd like to have this lightsaber. So, you know, these dates just approach so fast that try to make something happen on it like every day. Try to make something happen on it like every day so that you're ready when the time comes. To be quite honest, this was supposed to be a morning stream, and I was up so late last night that I would have loved for this to be like a morning stream today. It's just that I woke up past 11, to be quite honest, and thought to myself, you know what? I have a lot to do today, but I really would like to get some of those parts done for Malcolm's saber, like done live, so that people could see. And you guys can all, you know, comment and stuff like that. So thank you for being here. Oh, JB Kuma from the Mad Science Workshop is here. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, Saberinos. Cutting fluid is your friend. Even just 3-in-1. See, you know, I got it right here. I got it right here. And I'm here's my 3-in-1. Here's my 3-in-1 oil right here. And you know, I use this for steel when I have to deal with steel. And I kind of rarely pull it out for aluminum. Normally, aluminum is so soft for me to work with. Like I said, this piece happens to be kind of thick, but for the most part, aluminum is easy for me. JB Kuma actually made you a little video before. I didn't get a chance to send it yet, but I think you're gonna like it. I think it's pretty rad. It's kind of like Obi-Wan scene from Attack of the Clones. That's what I try to do. JB says he's building things, breaking things at the Mad Science Workshop. Well, what else do you expect, Mundo? What else do you expect? You gotta you know, break a couple eggs to make an omelet. Melted the crap out of the fusion foam in a pixel blade. Oh, so it did finally melt? It did actually melt? It did actually melt? I know you said it got so hot. I didn't know it was actually melting on you. All right, so it looks like I only have 2 more holes to do. This is coming out pretty good. They all look straight, even though I can adjust a little bit when I do my hand filing, but all I have to do is 2 more holes here. Let's make sure they're going to be good. It look like it. Now just one more. Uh-oh, I'm getting my t-shirt wrapped up in there. Might have to wear this t-shirt later. Might have to wear this t-shirt to dinner tonight. How do you guys think I would look in this one? It's a nice muscle shirt. Very last hole, I got a broken bit. Good thing it didn't get stuck in there. Should have listened to JB and just put some oil on there. What's my problem? Well, this backup one doesn't look very good. Let's go up here. I'm usually the king of breaking bits on steel, but on aluminum, I'm usually pretty good. This one looks good. Like butter with the Oreo, like butter. Okay. Now it's going to take some Jedi ingenuity to make these cuts. Jedi concentration. Do we have the power? Yeah, I think I need to get a sack of 2mm bits as well. Usually my dad will buy me like a whole kit of drill bits like that when I tell him I broke a lot of bits. Well, I mean, last time I broke a whole set, like of all different size bits. I was doing some project with steel, and I was breaking bits like all over, even with oil. Believe me, I didn't forget the oil there. But okay. Definitely need smaller Dremel bits for this. Okay, well, maybe I'll use this medium size one, and I'll try to bring this through some friction, through some use, down to the size that I need to actually punch through without making the neck of the Dremel slip on the actual shiny part, which is what you don't want. Yeah, dude. JB Coomer from the Mad Science Workshop says, I inherited a bunch of tips or taps and bits from my grandfather. Even though I thought I had decent taps, they are trash compared to what he had. Yeah, I know what you mean. I have a couple sets here that are from my grandfather, and they're like far and away better than anything new. Even like bolts and stuff that I went to Home Depot to buy, like for the garden fence and things like that. Some of these bolts would snap in my wrench, and it's really weird because like bolts that I have like whole toolboxes full of bolts that are like 80 years old from my grandfather or from garage sales and stuff like that. They never do that. They're all like dirty and old and stuff like that. They're not shiny like those ones at Home Depot, but they never break. And I don't know, just something about the steel from like 100 years ago was better. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I'm gonna get some of my protection, my good evening wear. I'm gonna put that here, and we will cover up our nose. Get some more light here. So the piece and the Dremel are getting quite hot now. So you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to slowly dig through those straight lines to the, connect the dots type of thing. And it's difficult because of those two layers. I'm going through the top layer, which is very thick, and then having trouble making my way through the bottom layer. So I'm kind of formulating in my mind like what my plan is, which I think it's going to be to try to get through this top layer with my Dremel tool, and then to take the drill press, and since this inner piece is so thin, I'm going to maybe be able to almost route my way through it. Possibly. I have to see how that goes. Oh no, Melissa, you're not commenting too much. Melissa says, sorry, I'm commenting too much. No, definitely not. You can comment as much as you want. It's free speech in here, Melissa. You can do whatever you want in here. They cut like a civilized Sabers tri-star saber. Melissa's back from eating. Yeah, Space, what's that noise? Is too loud? Yeah, this is like my Dremel tool against metal. It's almost like, fingernails on a chalkboard, probably. It is loud. The JB Dremel sound font. Yeah, there should be kind of, well, I think maybe Novastar has some kind of sound font that's like a buzzy, probably some kind of tool. Probably sounds like a tool, I bet, because he's got so many crazy sound fonts. Let's see. Jobinho Marquis says, I am Brazilian. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. It says, I don't speak English. Well, do you speak Saber? That's what we're doing here. Working on Sabers. Star Wars lightsabers, just trying to make something custom for Malcolm. One of my friends, Malcolm, trying to really give him something special. I think this is coming out kind of cool because this is looking like almost like an arrow. It's gonna be like an arrow design, like an arrowhead design, or almost like a waterfall design, depending on how you look at it. All right, couple more cuts here. I still have a little bit on my cutting wheel that I could work with. It's gonna be loud. Oh, the piece is still very hot. It's like I'm also trying to widen the slits with this thin cut Dremel tool. That main one made it a lot of the way in there. Probably make that one a little wider. Whew, it's hot. Had to give that part a break for a second. That's too hot. Let's let that rest over here. And I will take a look at the chat before I start sanding something else. Someone has a chainsaw. That's what it sounds like, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jobinho. He says, great work. He likes it. Thank you so much. I know it's kind of hard to see what it's going to become, but it is going to be a custom lightsaber. Let me show you the different. These are the different parts that it's going to be. So this is like the body with this piece right here. I don't know if I showed you guys this cutout last time. I don't think so, but I made the cutouts on this, and I do have to clean them up. This is a piece of shroud that's going to be right here. And you're going to be able to see through, or no, maybe it's like this. It's like this. So you're going to be able to see through these slits in this shroud piece through to this piece, which is the crystal chamber gate. And then through the holes of the crystal chamber gate is going to be the crystal, and it's going to be lit up. So you'll be able to see that like through there while the saber is either like on or off. And then the speaker is going to be down here. We're going to have a battery probably like right here. And then this is like a Darth Vader. I worked on this piece a lot. It probably looks the same to you guys, but I worked on this piece for like 4 days straight probably. And I finally got it to where it will fit with that emitter. So once I get that emitter done, this piece goes there. And then this emitter goes into it. So, oh, you can see how big that saber is, right? It's kind of long. It's not as long as I was originally worried about. So, you know, this is not too long, but it is kind of a long saber. You have about 1 inch here, you know, sticking up. If you don't count that, it's not too bad. Maybe it's about 13 inches. And then if you count this, it's probably almost 14 inches. But this is going to be kind of a beast. It has a Darth Vader style switch plate, and I'm making a Darth Vader-esque shroud bit there, that really meaty shroud. And then this emitter is going to probably sit into it like that. So this will be a beast of a saber. I think the balance on this is going to be amazing. And the blade is going to sit pretty deep into there too, the way I decided to kind of do it tonight. And oh yeah, you can kind of see how those slits are going to look. I think it's going to be pretty rad. This is a different possible part. It's just... Oh, and I think I did choose this piece for the thumb screw. Probably didn't need to grab that red one. This is a custom saber shop thumb screw. That's a possibility. Let's put that red possibility in there too. But I did that just in case we use a thumb screw with like a bigger thumb part of it, a bigger screw end, that I don't want it to interfere with those slits. And as you guys can probably hear, I got my cricket friends here tonight. I think they're breeding because from now until the morning they will be sounding off. I saw a baby cricket. I saw a baby cricket in here earlier, and that's why I know that they're breeding, because the mother and father are very... I don't know if you could hear through my microphone. Probably you can, because they're so loud. The only thing louder than those crickets is my Dremel. My drill press. The crickets found their way into the Starship Destiny. I don't know how they did that. Must have picked them up on my way, my last trip from Earth. switching back and forth. Two different sabers. This saber is for JJ. This is a chassis for JJ. While Malcolm's saber is cooling off, might as well keep my hands busy. Might as well not waste any time. It is saber time. Saber the moment. I'm using some sandpaper here. That's supposed to make it easier. Supposed to make it easier to sand stuff. Oh yeah. We'll get the metal a little more. I think that's enough with the plastic, but I can do the metal some more. Loud crickets tonight. Saberification systems are go, Mundo. They are. All right. I think we're good to go on this for a couple more minutes. Cover your ears. Hold your kids tight. Don't let them go. It's a tornado about to roll through. Yeah, it looks like what I'll probably have to do is take my drill press and actually make a few ugly holes along the lane of each of those cuts so that I could poke my my hand files in and just start cleaning it up, because it doesn't seem like the Dremel's getting through like both layers on some of them, you know, the roundness of the tool and the depth of these these two parts. But the center one I got like all the way through, and some of them it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to actually go in like much at all because of the tightness that I made that design. But I am happy that they're all even, and I think they will be when I finish. And it does look like, oh yeah, so I can kind of see how the light is gonna maybe start bouncing around in there because of the way the cuts are starting to come out. So I can kind of see that, you know, that space in there is going to be something special for the light to kind of bounce around, and that might present a cool glow over the whole interior of this emitter. So this is what I mean by hand files. If you don't know, these are what I prefer to use for things like this, where I need to clean up these cuts. I will put a hand file in there. Get my light just right so that I can see the beveled edges that I'm making, or the way the metal edges are going to be. That cricket's close, boy. I don't know if you could hear that cricket. That cricket's close. I think he's moving in. I should get a campfire going. Yeah, they definitely don't make steel like they used to. JB, I don't know what it is. Formula changed for steel, I guess, when they went to China to make the steel or something. But yeah, I got some really good, like, bigger files from my grandfather that will never go bad, I hope. All those old tools do seem better. I still use all of my yard tools from my grandparents and shovels and stuff. JB Kuma from the Mad Science Workshop is the one who designs and creates all my Civilized Sabers products, my SpaceWIndu products like SpaceWIndu blade plug chip, a bunch of other stuff that's coming out real soon. We're designed all at the Mad Science Workshop. Go subscribe over at the Mad Science Workshop on YouTube. This piece is going to come out pretty sweet too. I'm pretty excited about this piece. The loud sound, Melissa, are you talking about the tool or the cricket? Because there's a loud cricket in here, but this is what I do sometimes if it gets out of hand for the tool. This is you know, for a shooting range for a gun. So I'll put these on and I'll do my drilling through steel or whatever like work I have to do with like the heavier metals. Because whenever I've had to drill through steel, the sound, like if you thought that was loud, the sound, the ringing from the drill against steel is absolutely awful and way worse than what you heard tonight from the Dremel. So that's the type of thing that I will put on just to. You can still hear people talk with those and stuff, but it pulls out all the heavier sounds. You don't have to deal with those sounds. That's a good thing to have, especially if you're sensitive, or if you're gonna do this type of work like all day or for a really long time. One thing I heard when I was younger was that, you know, your ears can handle a loud concert or something for like 2 hours. But after that, there starts to be damage. So I always kept that in mind and remembered that for any type of thing I was doing for very loud tools or very loud concert would be to, you know, just don't do it for too long. Like 2 hours is basically like the maximum. Yeah, this saber is Malcolm's. The one that I think you were on that stream one time, Melissa, where we were working on Malcolm's this same saber. So it's still being machined, and then once I finish machining, I will clean it all up. And like the whole time I'm machining it, I'm kind of planning on how I'm doing the electronics. I'm starting to formulate like where the buttons are going to go and where all the stuff is going to go. Even though I had like an original sketch for Malcolm, sometimes you have to look at the hardware you're working with, like what you're actually dealing with in the hilt, to see if all that stuff's possible. Okay, it looks like I have about 1 hour before my next stream, which is going to be a comic book stream over on my Comic Book Creation Live channel. Mundo Cabrera is going to be in that stream. If you guys want to come over there, check us out at Comic Book Creation Live around 10 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, let's see what JB says. I always wear glasses and a mask. No excuse not to wear a mask anymore. Hearing protection is like 50-50 usually. Put on after I've been cutting for a while and realized I should be wearing plugs. The tool you used just now, over 20,000 medical count, I'm sensitive. Yeah. So, you know, if your ears are sensitive, then yeah, this can sound pretty intense, I'm sure. Awesome. All right, well, thank you all for joining me doing this build stream for Malcolm. I bet you the piece is still a little warm here, but I will probably do some of this in the background and then come back live again in a couple days and show you where I got with this. Hopefully I can get it to look like this picture behind me. And same thing with this part. I want to clean this up, because once I get these two parts cleaned up, I'm that much farther with the machining, and I think I'll only have holes to drill after that. If I'm not mistaken, I'll just have kind of like maybe 4 to 6 holes to drill. Maybe if I include screw holes, like I'll have like 10 holes to drill, but it won't be that bad. And then I'll be able to get into the install, which will kind of be a lot of fun. I think will be more interesting for you guys to check out, like installation. I can maybe get the camera closer in and show you, you know, the wiring part of it, even though that might be like a multi-day process, depending on how I plan it out, how far I get with that. But everybody have a great night. Come back for the next version of this live build stream, which will probably be part 5. I think this is part 4. Part 5 of Malcolm Saber. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to saber the moment, like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're not subscribed for more lightsaber stuff. I'll talk to you really, really soon.
Crystal focus make you stronger.
I have something here for you. It's the weapon of a Jedi.
Then I am a Jedi.
Do you like what I do here on SpaceWIndu channel? You might like my second channel. It's called Comic Book Creation Live. And that's where I work on my latest comic book, Albatross Junction, with my friend Kevin. We do a live show every single Wednesday. You might want to drop by and check it out. It's a really cool story that is sort of like Star Wars in some ways. There's some space travel, there's a lot of action, alien creatures, monsters, and future Earth, maybe over 1,000 years into the future. So go check out Comic Book Creation Live.